Welcome to another Echo Sportscast Spotlight interview.
I'm Dave Dale. It's number 34.
And I'm Paul McLean. With us today, we have North Bay's own Matt Marquardt, born and raised and former professional hockey player, current hockey coach, and now home coaching the North Bay Battalion. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here. Thanks, guys.
So I think first off, like most recently, you guys just finished off a great weekend of orientation for the new draftees and rookies and people in the organization. Lots of people coming up and a chance for you guys to show off what the battalion are about, sell the city, and convince those parents and the players of why they're going to be successful here. Maybe just talk a little bit about what the weekend was like and some stuff to look forward to and what it was like, because this would have been your first orientation camp.
First development camp for me here in North Bay. Awesome experience. I mean, seeing that for the first time. I've obviously been around to other development camps and in other spots, but to be home was personally a special one for me, and just to see how first class it was run. I mean, left no stone unturned with it's a lot of information to take over a couple of days for these kids and their parents, but just really, really exciting for not only the club, but these kids at an important time in their lives. And you almost forget from a teenager's eyes, like how crucial this is at that point, and that's all they think about and things like that. So it's great to get everybody in the door and put names to faces. Can give a ton of shout outs, one to our scouting staff who selected some awesome players, and all kids that were really high on their initial list that kind of fell to us in spots we didn't think we'd ever have a chance to get. So to see them live at ice level was awesome. They were all really, really good players. It's crazy how good they are at that age, at this right now, and also to just the management, the way it was run. I mean, as an assistant coach, sometimes you're just kind of Billy and I getting on the bench and coaching, but to watch that and just to see the time and effort they put into, like I said, ticking boxes in terms of, seeing it from a parent's eyes or a prospective player, just, seeing the day-to-day of, the battalion way and the way we do things and the work they need to put in to get to this level, but also the really important stuff like, the academics, our facilities. They took all the parents on a bus around town to just show them the city. Some of these players and parents think we're Thunder Bay and think it's so far away. And to get them in the door and in the rink and see the atmosphere, it was awesome. The crowd came out. They had, the music and the goal horns going, and the fans were in the stands. And, all just really cool, informational weekend. And we got awesome feedback from the players and parents when they were heading back. So awesome weekend for us. Really exciting time. Buzz that not only the young guys from last year are creating, but the new kids coming in, and says a lot about our guys in our program when, all the vets were kind of coming back as well. We had players from last year on the bench coaching alongside us. Then we had the young 16-year-olds that played last year on the bench playing with the young kids. So development was the key word, and it was like crazy how many different facets of development there were, both hockey and personal development.
Feels like you guys have really, for a team that was in a rebuild year after 3 straight trips to conference finals, you've really hit the ground running with the way the season ended, the experience that the young guys got, and now with a great group of kids ready to come in. I guess that's going to be lots of people fighting for spots too. And
it's going to be competitive, but that's good. I mean, the people we have in our organization at the helm starts with them, and they're doing an excellent job. Like I said, all the things I mentioned, they're going into development camp and the town hall, just to be transparent about everything going on with the team. We're a smaller community, a smaller market in this league, but the fact that they're creating the buzz and being forthright with all the information and the exciting things coming with the team, we're all in this together. That's I'm from here, so I see it from that side too. My parents, my brother, like everybody I know, my friends are all
excited,
big Battalion supporters, and they're excited about the team. So. it's awesome for me to see this stuff and be a part of it and try and help any way I can. So
what was the, maybe go into the Wayback Machine and compare it to what was development camp like for you? And was Moncton the first one that you would have gone to, or did you go to others before? Were you?
They didn't really have it. I think that was kind of something the NHL started with, getting their draft picks in the door right after the draft.
Yeah.
Again, for me, my first development camp was probably with the Boston Bruins. Once I had signed, I also did one with Columbus when I was drafted, but just a way to get the prospects together and again, see it, when main camp comes around, there's a lot going on around you, but
this helps get you a little bit more prepared for that.
Being a little bit more comfortable in the environment, putting names to faces that you might have back in the day. There wasn't a ton of emails. It was, you'd get a phone call, but you didn't know who your point of contact was. So you'd go meet them and then all the other guys you either competed against or from other leagues that also got drafted. And, that's where good organizational cultures kind of start, is getting those guys, the youth movement and the future of the club kind of together, getting to know one another. And then, like I said, when you get to camp and you feel a little bit more comfortable, you can then perform. So, again, that's probably the first one I went to, but that's really, I think it's really evolved. And it's in a really good place right now. I think it's a great way to just get people accustomed and, like I said, feel good, feel comfortable. That's how people perform, and you get the best out of your people if they're comfortable and they're, in an environment that, they can do their thing.
Yeah. You had a travel-filled career yourself, and for those that haven't followed you, can you give us just a little bit of the short version of from the Boston experience and then what you did?
Yeah, sure. I'm born and raised here in North Bay. Just kind of went through my own struggles with the hockey journey, and I think that's what got me into coaching, was just being able to kind of relate to players and helping them form their path. I wasn't drafted in the OHL and then got an opportunity to play in the Quebec Major Junior League for Ted Nolan and the Moncton Wildcats, and that kind of started my journey into pro hockey. I was lucky enough to win a championship at the Quebec League level, and then played 3 years of junior and then moved on to pro. I was drafted by Columbus in 2006. And then signed with the Boston Bruins. 2009 was my rookie season. Then played professionally for 13 years, I believe, in North America and parts of Europe and the UK. And when COVID hit, kind of ended things for me in my career. But had a former teammate and a former coach of mine that was coaching out in Seattle in the Western Hockey League, and gave me an opportunity to interview. I got the job, moved out there for a little bit and won a championship there. So have 2 of the 3 CHL championships. So that leaves room for one more, and hopefully a Memorial Cup as well. And to get the opportunity to do it here in North Bay would be pretty special.
You were a team leader, and you also led in England, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about that internationally.
Pretty awesome experience. I was getting later in my career and had the opportunity to 30 years old, go continue to play pro hockey, but got offered a scholarship to attend Coventry University in England and enter the sports management program that they had there. So unique experience combining the two and kind of condensing 2-year course into one. So it was a lot, but an awesome
especially
experience.
Trying to play pro hockey at 30 and go to school. Not a lot of guys doing that, but
you get a lot of free time as a professional hockey player sometimes, aside from just, the day-to-day is go to the rink in the morning, you practice, and then some of the places I was able to play, you'd practice in the morning, then go golf in the afternoon. Getting to 30 years old, I thought, I had to manage my time a little more, and I think that was a really good way for me to prepare for life after hockey. And got into that program with a sport focus. So it really helped as well, because I think if not being in school for, 10 plus years, probably more than that, would have been tough to just jump into anything else. But awesome experience. And I'm a big advocate and an ambassador for it whenever I can, to encourage guys later in their careers or guys looking to break into pro and overseas, to do it and maximize both professional and academic.
That's like you've been everywhere, man. And you're bringing back this to your hometown and you're with a class organization. I saw some of the North Bay Battalion YouTube stuff of the camp and the open house.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody has missed it like I did. We were going to go there Saturday night, but the Sports Hall of Fame was going on, and there's no way I'm getting up at 9:30 on a Sunday unless I'm getting paid. So go to the YouTube channel. You'll see what we're talking about. When you see these players, and you alluded to it, you know what they're going through, you know what they're thinking, and you want to help them avoid some probably conflicts that you probably had. What were some of those conflicts that you remember that you want to make sure other players don't go through?
It's a good question and something that's really important to me. Like I said, that's why I got into coaching, is I didn't have I had a pretty unique path of how I carved my way into pro hockey, into junior hockey even, and now being back home, I could really sink my teeth into things, especially at the grassroots and youth level. One experience that just sticks out to me and really kind of fueled the fire for me was just being cut in minor hockey. Definitely, like I mentioned before, like this is the world to these kids.
Yep.
Their hockey and their friends and the school, and they don't have the grown-up problems yet. But,
No.
So they're really focused on this stuff. And, I think just the way I was able to navigate that and take lessons from it, and also let it kind of fuel my passion for the game. I stepped away for a little bit, which allowed me to realize I did have a really big passion for this and something I wanted to pursue potentially, and kind of full circle here with the junior hockey. Like when I was young, the Centennials were everything to me, and the NHL seems like a really lofty goal, but I wanted to be a North Bay Centennial, and that's where I kind of fell in love with junior hockey, and have had the opportunity to play junior hockey, and just kind of looking back how I was able to stick with it. And I know a lot of these kids in the area and all over minor hockey have had to deal with this at some point, and I think it better prepared me for other things, whether it was not getting drafted or not getting drafted where I thought I should, or being released, not being signed, not being drafted, getting sent down. All these things were just, I could bring myself back to that moment where I was able to cultivate a mindset to deal with these hardships and kind of use them as fuel to stay hungry and get going again.
Yeah, well, in life, you're going to get fired. You're going to get cut by the girlfriend. You're going to have these things that don't make sense at the time, and you're going to feel like the world's hard on you. But you got to develop this muscle to pick yourself up, right? So that's a good thing to help others out. So you were running some hockey camps?
Yeah, I've done this for quite a few years. Alongside Paul, he's helped me a lot with CHT. And again, that's another kind of piece of my youth it's the old Euro camp, back when Randy Edmonds used to run it, when we all used to go to hockey school back in the day. And then he handed it down to Cassidy Preston, who's a close friend of mine and somebody I played minor hockey with all growing up. And then he moved down south, and he's doing really good with his sports psych.
Published author now,
Yeah,
and working with all kinds of teams. It's really cool to see the stuff that he's been able to develop.
Yeah,
give him a call too.
He can. I'm sure he'd have some pretty awesome things to say here too. But he had CHT for quite a few years. And then when I'd always help him out in the summers, and then when he got a little bit busy for running it full time, I was still playing and coming home for the summers, and it's a good way for me to stay involved in hockey and kind of give back to the youth here in North Bay and surrounding areas. And it's a ton of fun. Really enjoy getting out there with the kids, and still having that old school hockey school where it's you do some drills, some stations, and then play some games at the end. So fond memories of my childhood, just trying to keep that going. So we've been doing that for a while now here in the summer.
What ages?
It'll be, I'm a hockey guy, so I go by
birth years. Yeah.
No, but it's anywhere from our camp, I think, is 7 to 10 is one group, or 8 to 11, and then 12 to 14, I believe. That's where we cap it off at.
Right.
Yeah, and then I'm involved in the North Bay Battalion Hockey School as well, which is, right before our training camp opens in August, and we get a lot of the players back in town, and they're eager to get on the ice with the kids, and awesome for, our fan base and getting their little ones.
That's
out
where the
there.
fans start.
Yeah, and it's awesome. I mean, to see our games through a kid's eyes, I know because I've been there, going to the gardens and having the ruckus crowds there for the Centennials, and knowing that, they're going on the ice in August, and that's the kind of things that they see is just their experience at the game, and now being on the ice and being around the players and the coaching staff. It's a lot of fun, and it really sets the tone for training camp.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit lighter and good times before the hard times.
Yeah. You talked about being cut in minor hockey, and that's really timely right now because we've just kind of gotten through the big rush of all the minor hockey tryouts. I mean, there's still some ongoing and stuff, but this is that point where there's a lot of kids out there that have been disappointed by maybe the results of it, and they put everything they had, and for some of them, maybe it does seem like it's over. What was that experience like for you, and what maybe is a message that you could share to some of those kids that are feeling a little down right now, and what they need to, how they can channel that and focus it?
Yeah. One way is now being on the coaching side and looking at things a little bit differently is no one's making the NHL at 11, 12.
Yeah.
So one thing I remember is just I went and played for Glenn Kandari, and he allowed my dad never coached me, only coached my brother. So my dad was on the bench as an assistant, so I thought, that's pretty cool. I'll get to be around my dad a little bit more. And it just kind of turned into a lot of fun, like just playing with my buddies from high school. And I'm a competitive person, but I was still able to compete alongside my buddies. And one way you could see it, especially for the young kids at this point, is just, again, letting it fuel you. The way you bounce back from certain disappointments, or, that's what defines you more than, getting released or getting cut, or I think just seeing it as an opportunity. That's one way to, deal with setbacks, is just kind of change your focus and your mindset into seeing it as an opportunity. I get more ice time. I get to play with some of my buddies from school I haven't played with. My dad will coach or something like that. But keep going. It's a never ending kind of journey if you choose to stick with it. If it's not something for you, then maybe that's the opportunity, or that's the kind of good thing about it, is you realize, I want to put my time and effort into something else. But I think for those who are really passionate and really committed to the game, use it. That's the one thing I could give you is use it. See it as an opportunity, especially at that age. Kids grow at different times. Kids develop at different times. I remember playing with kids that had beards at 11, 12, and then, that's where they stop growing. So just sticking with it. If you're really serious about it, put in the work. There's, that's the main ingredient, I think, is just continuing to work and putting the time in. That's one way you're going to evolve as a person and as an athlete, is just being dedicated to your craft despite the results, sticking to it and being, it's a lot. I could put myself in that place, but it's like it teaches you a lot of lessons you can take forward with you. So
there's lots of times to sit and moan and complain when you're 80. When you're young and you still have a chance, and these are tests in life, right?
For sure.
And the test is how you handle something, whether it's good or bad. Even if you make the team, that's a test.
Yeah,
for sure. You got to put the helmet on, even though your head's swollen. You made the team, but now you got to work. And if you don't make that team, it's a test to see how what's your resilience level. Right?
Exactly.
With in your role with the battalion players as well, like so these are now elite hockey players that have made it through, and in a lot of cases probably haven't experienced being cut or not getting. This is where they'll start to fall off. Is that like the role that you play in talking to them and how you've been involved in coaching? Like, I guess like you're just like a never-ending source of information about all these things about where these guys could play. Like, what are some of those conversations like? Or, I don't know, how do those kids that are hoping to go on and be drafted in the NHL or find pro experiences, like what are some of the things that you talk to them about, or how do you?
I just try and play to my strengths. That's always something I try to do in my life and in my athletic life and now into my coaching life. I think that I've tried to not be so far removed from seeing it as a player, and I do it in the approach of how I coach as well. Sometimes I talk to the guys about, I call it value in the visor, as sometimes I can trust what they're put myself in their shoes and understand that there's certain things that they see that I might not, or I'm giving them a different view from the bench or from video.
Yeah.
And same with just the little things. I lean on my experiences. I think that's where I'm best suited to help coach and navigate players in their own development, whether it's personal or in the game, is just having them learn from my mistakes, or just if I show them that I can relate to what they're going through, or give them a scenario or an experience that I've had that was similar, and kind of give them, a nudge towards the right way to do it. And, either I did it the wrong way and I can tell you to go the other, or, just use my experience. And again, like the mindset thing, try and find a different way for them to relate to what they're seeing. Like, I can tell sometimes you forget these kids are 17, 16 to 20, because a lot of them are very mature. A lot of them are very good at hockey.
Yeah.
So that's where I try and, again, just find ways for them to relate to things, whether it's from a personal experience or somebody I've seen playing at all the different levels. I can relate to little things and setbacks, or just kind of keep them going in the direction they're going. A lot of times, that's the way to go too, is remind them that they're on the right track. The game's changed. We all had coaches that were a little rough around the edges, you could say, or the communication wasn't always the best, or any at all. So that's where, as well, just building off of my experiences and the things that I felt as a player helped me out, or things that didn't. And one of them is communication. That's the big key to coaching now. The modern player, you got to be on your toes, and you got to be on task, because they're going to ask why. They're going to the things you say or the things you show them. Well, they want to know why, and it's good. It keeps us on our toes. We're not. It's not the old school where there's no highway option. Like, we're taking in that information, getting to know the player and the person, and I think just communicating with them is the biggest thing. Knowing that there's an open door and be approachable is probably the biggest thing I've drawn on for these kids.
I want to ask you, what are a couple things that this generation is coming to you guys with that is a detriment to their futures, like habits and attitudes? What are the things that you sort of alarm bells?
It's tough to say. I've been really fortunate, both in Seattle and here. These kids are so motivated, and they're freak athletes. I mean, they're protein shakes and stretching, and that wasn't our approach at that age. So they're really impressive kids and people and athletes. But the one thing, as you mentioned, like a lot of these kids at this level, they were the best players on their team for their whole lives. So coming into here, it's a little bit of a eye-opener sometimes when there's, I wouldn't say a hierarchy, but there's just, you got to get your feet wet in the league, and you got to learn things, and you got to, maybe concede a little bit of ice time than you're used to. Maybe you're not on the power play. Maybe you're not on the penalty kill. Maybe you're not a captain.
Yeah.
All these things. But again, our staff is awesome. I'm really, really happy to be working with this group. Bill Holder, I mean,
you have such a great mix, really, when you think about between the experiences and even like the different things that shaped your careers. Like, Bill being a longtime NHL vet who took a long time to get there and had a lot of staying power, even though he's not a flashy guy, high and hard off the boards, right? And that Yukon that he drove forever too, just not a flashy guy, but, really has that experience. And then, Hooley's career being cut short, I think provides a different perspective. And obviously, not only just the teams that you played for, but like the championship teams that you were part of, the community involvement. I think about Charlotte. Like, I think you were really involved down in that when you were playing with the Checkers, and then, but yeah, those championships in Fort Myers and being a part with the Everblades.
Yeah, I mean, going back to it, like, great to be surrounded by great people, and like you said, Billy, he played over 900 games in the NHL, so it's tough not to listen to a guy that's gone and been through that. And like you said, he didn't have an easy road. Uli, he was an NHL draft pick, played pro. His career was cut short due to injury. I had a fairly long career with kind of twists and turns.
Yeah.
Nate McDonald played in the NCAA. He went through his share of adversity. And now with the new landscape, he can provide some insight on the NCAA and how that works. Adam Dennis, won Memorial Cup. He's won an OHL championship. He's done everything as well. So it's a great group to be surrounded by.
I'd say like if coaches were teams, your team probably ticks off more boxes and more experience and local flavor than any other, really, when you're a whole coaching staff. Yeah,
it's truly, I'm grateful to be a part of that group and that staff. And John Winstanley stepping in as general manager, he knows the ins and outs of the GTA and all his staff and the scouts that go find these players and the elite players around mostly the Toronto area, but some kids from around here, and they got an eye for that. So it's really exciting to be a part of, and I'm really thankful and grateful to be a part of this program.
And what was the first year living back at home after being away for all that time, getting to spend time with the parents and I guess follow your brother a little closer too?
It's been 21 years since I left. I left at 16. I've been back every summer, but to mesh those two worlds, hockey and the family side, it's just been awesome. To just reconnect with old friends and have my parents, their social time is to come to watch the games. And we get together for supper after on Sundays. So all that stuff is just really exciting.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah.
Do you, last question, really. Do you play any music or sing?
Don't sing. No. Corey's a singer. I play some guitar. I played guitar when I was younger.
Yeah.
I got away from it a little bit, but I do play guitar and really enjoy it. That's probably one of my biggest hobbies is going to shows and checking out some concerts, especially Corey. So really like to support him and what he's doing as well. And he's doing great. So it's fun to kind of be back. We've lost a lot of time over the years just with him doing his thing and me doing mine. And we're giving our parents a pretty good time. No, they're checking out a lot of cool spots. It's great to be back with all of them.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and thank you for coming in on short notice.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's great, and really love getting that perspective of what's going on with the team right now, and to hear a little bit about the journey of how you got here. But it's great having you back. I still remember meeting you when you were coming in before the store even opened, and we were baking skates. I think that one of the pro teams had sent you to get ready. So it's really cool. This has been one of the best parts, I think, for me in the store and being a part of this community is getting to watch and getting to know, guys like you and just getting to watch that whole journey from being, a little bit off to the side and getting to see it. So it's met some amazing people and you're definitely one of them. So
awesome.
Thanks a lot for coming in.
Yeah. Thank you.
This has been another Echo Sportscast Spotlight interview.
I'm Dave Dale.
And I'm Paul McLean. Please remember to share and like, and if you've got any content or people that you'd like us to talk to, let us know.
And maybe buy Battalion season tickets.
Yes. Yeah. Support the Battalion. They're really taking things in a good direction. Get in there now, too, because I don't think it's going to be too long till you're back in another conference championship.